Hi, this is Bill Osmond, City Manager in Douglasville. On this edition of On the Agenda, I'll be talking with three ladies who are involved in the planning and soon to be implementing a couple of great attractions in Douglasville. One is an old standby, the Taste for Douglasville Arts. The other is a brand new festival, and in a few minutes we'll be talking with Suzanne Hudson, who will give us a rundown on the Penny McHenry Hydrangea Festival. Join me for On the Agenda. Guests today are two ladies from the Cultural Arts Council, the CAC as we identify it. I have Laura Lieberman and Allison Williams with me, and it's great to have you today with me on the agenda. You know, we could talk a long time about activities of the CAC, but we've got a special mission today, and that's looking at the Taste for Douglasville Arts, which will be coming up on Saturday, May 17. This will be the 14th edition of the Taste to be in Douglasville. It's been held in wet weather, in dry weather, in hot weather, and cold weather, and we've changed the name of it, but it certainly has stood the test of time on being an outstanding community event here in Douglasville, Douglas County. Tell us a little bit about what we can expect this year for the Taste for Douglasville Arts.
Of course, it's going to be the best one ever, right? And I want to thank you for having us on City TV. We're really looking forward to talking to you right now about the downtown Douglasville's most popular event, which is Taste for Douglasville Arts. You probably know a lot more about the early years than I do, because I only have 5.5 years in. And I think the name got changed by one of our event chairs who wanted people to know what the money was being raised for just about 2003. But I want you to know that even though as I arrived it was very well established, as was our partnership with the city, I think we've strengthened it, we've grown it, you know, we've had the Downtown Development Authority as a sponsoring partner for at least the last 5 years, for which we're very grateful. But the entire city gets behind this event, which is so important. Your wonderful staff and a lot of key players who are in front of people and who aren't. So we're very grateful to that. You know, of course, the major is Mayor Thompson. And we appreciate everything he does, including the fact he lends his wife to us as one of our honorary co-chairs, which is no small contribution. Right.
Well, you know, the Taste of Douglasville started, as we said, some 14 years ago. Now the Taste for Douglasville Arts, but certainly very popular. And it will be coming up on Saturday, May 17. Tell us where it will be held, what the hours will be. Just give us a quick rundown.
Okay, well, Bill, Taste of Douglasville begins at 11 a.m. with the mayor's opening ceremony and the city color guard, and continues all day until 5 p.m. on Saturday, May 17th on the O'Neill Plaza and Church Street between Price and Bowden. This year we are adding a second stage. I'm very excited about the second stage for student performances at the corner of Church and Courthouse Square East. We've already heard replies from several school groups, including a Japanese drummer group and an African drummer group. So we're very excited about our second stage this year.
Very good. Well, you know, I've been to most of the Taste, and for our viewers, we may have some people, probably newcomers to the community, that have never been to a Taste, and we may have some that hadn't been in the last few years. So if you would, just tell us, when somebody arrives at the Taste, what can they expect to see, and what can they expect to do?
Well, you're going to see a huge street festival with 5,000 people attending. Allison mentioned that we have two stages. There's one on the plaza, and that features a lot of local talent, West Side Winds, which is a wonderful community group, all kinds of folks like that performing. And we'll have the student stage. We have lots of vendors, including a lot of the CAC satellites, like the Douglas County Arts Guild, the $1 Players. Then we have kids' activities that are all set up through the alleyway so that it's kind of protected. Hands-on, Douglasville School of the Arts is going to do painting. We're going to have dance lessons. We've got all kinds of things going on. But what will happen is there'll be 2 ticket booths set up.
Okay.
And people can buy tickets for $1 each, and then cash them in basically by tasting with all of the wonderful restaurants.
That's great. You know, I know that's a lot better than if somebody like me, I want to taste a lot of different things so that I don't, each time I go up to a booth, have to pull out my billfold and pay them whatever the price would be. So in other words, I go to a central location, I get me a lot of tickets.
2 locations.
2 locations.
Right.
And then I can just go and just enjoy sampling all kinds of things. But now, you know, if somebody like me, I'll probably not buy as many tickets as I will end up thinking I want. So I'm going to want to go back and get me some more tickets, so because I want to taste some more.
That's right.
So I guess no prohibitions on me doing that, is there?
Not at all. In fact, you use up your tickets. We have 2 booths set up so you can just go to the nearest booth and just spend more money because it's going to a very good cause.
That's right.
Well, let's talk about that very good cause. That well, before we do that, give me a rundown on what kind of restaurants are going to be there, what kind of foods I'm going to be able to sample.
Oh, well, this is great. We have 20 restaurants confirmed at this point. We're expecting actually a few more. Lots of new ones. We'll have established ones. Salmon Roscoe's has been to every single taste since it started. We gave them a Founder's Prize last year. But Gumbo's, Red Lobster, Fabiano's, and then we always have great new restaurants. I think Carrabba's has decided that they're going to be in with us. The Irish Bread Pub, which we're so excited about coming to the Plaza, Buffalo Wild Wings, and a sweet shop, Sweet Cravings, which we're real excited about. So there'll be really, you know, great Italian, there'll be pizzas, there'll be sandwiches, there'll be Mexican, Caribbean, sort of anything that anybody wants. Plus, CAC sells soft drinks that are provided by the Coca-Cola Enterprises. CCE does that every year, and we sell those to everyone. So.
That's great. You know, in our restaurants, we certainly appreciate participating in this community event. And for people like myself, I go buy my tickets and I enjoy all that food. But the price that I pay for those tickets, I know that that money is put to good use. So tell me what you do with the proceeds.
Okay, the restaurants and everyone participating in the Taste this year are generating support for the Cultural Art Council program. The CAC is deeply grateful for their contributions, and what a great way to help fund the arts, tasting all kinds of delicious foods prepared by our best restaurants during a fun-filled, family-oriented street festival in the historical downtown Douglasville. Now, with the money we raise from the festival, and all of our sponsors, the CAC offers arts activities and cultural programs throughout the year. Last year, we actually had over 45,000 people to benefit from the program that come through the CAC, including more than 10,000 children and young people. We're very excited about those numbers. We usually have about 5,000 people attend the Taste of Douglasville, and we expect to have even more this year.
Right, that's great. And you had talked earlier about some of the other activities, because there's more to the Taste for Douglasville Arts than food.
That's right.
And I know that we've got a couple of personalities who would be there. Who's going to be there that some of our viewers might recognize the names?
Well, there'll be quite a few people. Actually, WSB 750 AM Radio is our media sponsor again this year. Captain Herb is doing a live feed, and he's everybody's favorite.
That's right.
The mayor and the chairman of the county commission are usually in evidence because their wives are our honorary chairs, so we'll be seeing them. We also have booths and tables set up for social service agencies.
Good.
So CORE, led by Amanda Bryant, usually has distribution of services. Last year we had LEAF. We're hoping they'll do it. Safe Kids has had programs, you know, with handouts, letting people know about all that. And the Downtown Development Authority and City TV are sharing a booth again this year. And I understand they're selling cookbooks, which we're real curious about. And I want to know which of my recipes they picked for this publication.
We'll look forward to flipping through the book and determining that. Now, I know last year we had a new special feature that started, and that was the wine tasting. And I know that you feature North Georgia vineyards. Tell us what the arrangements are this year and what people can expect to find.
Okay. Well, last year was our very first wine tasting. And this year, Penny Poole, who's in charge of the event again, has set up where we will be able to sample from through the local stores like Kroger, so people actually have an idea of what is offered locally. We are working with Kroger's instead of the North Georgia Vineyard so that people can taste what excellent and affordable wines are available in Douglasville.
Good.
Okay? We are also adding some nibbits to the tasting donated by the local caterers like Laura Boma or Atlanta Finest. And this year, the Young Career Group from the Chamber of Commerce is going to staff. And we're very excited about having them on board. And they're going to be there
Great.
to service and to staff the event.
Right.
And this year, the event, again, will be held in the City Conference Center.
Okay.
Okay?
Very
Taste
good.
of the grape.
All
Taste
right.
of the grape.
Very good. You know, as we've been talking, of course, a lot of people are involved in putting this together and making sure that it works. And we've got a couple of groups with our city government that I want to point out to our viewers that our maintenance and sanitation department, I think you would agree, does a yeoman work on helping put up all the tents and make the arrangements and everything. And this year we'll have our crew chiefs, Pat Ansbacher, Joe Vincent, operating under Greg Roberts, director of our maintenance and sanitation department, but to all of our employees in maintenance and sanitation, we certainly appreciate all they do. And then our community and downtown services department, Marcia Hampton, the director, Maiden Street manager, our CVB, all of the involvement that they have, we just appreciate what they do.
And the police force.
Police force, certainly. And so we appreciate what all of these employees do, because I think that this is a great partnership that the city and the CAC have. In many ways we do, but certainly the taste included. You talked about your volunteers. Anything else you want to say about your volunteers?
Well, you know, we couldn't throw a party for 5,000 or 6,000 people without a lot of help, including the cities. And really, your wonderful staff makes so much of it possible for us. And really, I'm not sure people are aware that without the city's support, the Cultural Arts Council really couldn't exist. You helped establish us. It was a mayor who really supported a group of visionary citizens, including actually Suzanne Hudson, who I think you've got coming up to talk about Hydrangea Festival after we're here. But, you know, that was 22 years ago, and we're delighted that it still makes sense to the city to support quality of life through the arts in the community. All told, we were trying to count up how many volunteers were involved. It is somewhere between 75 to 150 people that work with us just on this event. And during the year with all of our programs, it's close to 500 people that support us.
That's great. And to our viewers, as we close this part on the agenda, I want to do three things actually. I want to thank you two ladies for being with me today. I want to invite you back to talk about some other CAC activities on another program. And I'm going to give you the last word for anything you want to say about taste, but also to just make a quick announcement, because concerts on the plaza are coming up very soon, and so you have the final word.
Well, I do want to thank our honorary co-chairs before we stop, and then I'll plug the concerts on the plaza. Janice Thompson and Linda Worthen have done this now for us, I believe, 3 years. They find vendors, they find volunteers, they help fundraise for all of it, and of course they're present to give the much awaited awards like Best Decorated Booth and Best New Restaurant and the Sidewalk Chalk Contest for kids. So they're very, very important. They're wonderful to work with, and we like it that they bring their husbands. With this year's concerts in May, we're calling it, we're always a little hokey at times, we're calling it Irish Spring. We're celebrating the Irish Bread Pub. We've got 3 great bands set up on May 3rd. We've just had the Buddy O'Reilly Band commit, which is one of the great sort of rollicking Irish bands in the Atlanta area. Then we've got a Celtic contemporary band called the Pogue, which is on the 10th. Pogue means kiss in Gaelic, which We always learn something with these. And then we've got one of the Southeast's finest Celtic groups, which is Celtic Kudzu. So I've heard their music. It's a little better than their name, I think. We hope everybody will come. It's Saturdays at 7. Bring your own chair. It's free and open to the public because we're supported by the city, the county, the state, our sponsors, and our membership. Thank you.
Welcome back to On the Agenda. My first guests today, of course, were two ladies from the Cultural Arts Council, and we were talking about an event that all of you are familiar with, or most of you, I'm sure, namely the Taste for Douglasville Arts, because that event has been around for 14 years. But my guest for the second part of today's show is really breaking new ground because this will be the inaugural event. And so I'm pleased today to have with me Suzanne Hudson, who is the co-chair of the Penny McHenry Hydrangea Festival. This will be the first of its kind here in Douglasville, Douglas County. I'm excited about it because I think it has a great potential for the future in terms of tourist activities. But we're just glad to have you with us today. Welcome to On the Agenda.
Thank you, Bill. I really appreciate this opportunity. And our committees are so excited about this festival. One reason we're so excited, there's not been a festival that has going to beautify the community.
Right.
And that's one of our goals. And to preserve heirloom plants and to promote tourism, to bring people that are gardening enthusiasts from all over.
Right. That's great. Well, it's coming up, of course, on Friday, Saturday, June 6th and 7th, so right around the bend. And you know, I know that the idea for this sprang from the creative minds of you and your co-chair, Jerry Farmer. And I know from working with you two ladies down through the years that you're very creative and you come up with a lot of ideas, and then you have the tenacity and the fortitude to pursue those. But you know, this may be the biggest thing that you have bitten off. But before we talk to our viewers about how all of this came about, let's just start with the specifics. What's going to happen here on Friday, Saturday, June 6th and 7th?
Well, the whole festival is going to have a different feeling from the festivals that we do have in downtown. So the first week of June is peak bloom season for hydrangeas,
Okay.
so that's kind of why we chose that time. But Friday night, June the 6th, will be the first hydrangea ball,
Okay.
which will celebrate just spring and our community. And we'll have dancing under the stars. The ball will be held at Le Jardin Blanc. Now the other activities on June 7th will be a standard flower show, which has never been done, music on 2 stages, which a lot of the festivals have, but dining on the plaza is going to be totally different. White tablecloths and French blue umbrellas. So you can actually sit down and enjoy the menus from all the restaurants in downtown.
Okay. Well, let me ask, now I've heard you talk about why you got the June date and all these things that are going to happen, but why hydrangeas?
Well, we wanted something that would be very showy and would grow quickly and that any of our citizens could grow. Mm-hmm. Hydrangeas, there's so many different varieties. There's hydrangeas that grow in the sun and hydrangeas that grow in the shade. And we weren't as patient as Macon to grow cherry trees.
Right.
So we wanted something that would be showy, fast.
Right. Very good. Now, you mentioned some of the activities, but I cut you off. So finish out the schedule of what happens later in the on Saturday.
Good. Well, there's going to be a market.
Okay.
And the market is going to be a little different. It's going to have fine art. It's not a crafts market, but fine art, antiques, and plants. So garden enthusiasts will be excited. Also books, garden books, books about gardens, and we're having authors sign those books. So you'll want to come and meet the people that actually wrote the garden books.
Okay, very good. Now, I know that some of our viewers probably say, well, I'd like to do a kind of sample a couple of your events, and we may have some enthusiasts that say, I want to be there for the entire 2 days. So tell me about tickets. How do you get tickets? What do tickets cost, and so forth?
Well, we have an incredible website, and thanks to Colin at the CBV, she has put up an incredible website, so you can actually purchase tickets online to the festival. Now,
and as you're talking, we're showing that on television at this time.
Good. Well, there's so many free events, so everything is not ticketed.
Right.
The downtown festival, all the booths and the flower show, all of that is non-ticketed events. That's free events. Now, our ticketed events are the ball and the garden tours, which you are going to be able to buy a ticket and see 5 beautiful gardens in our county.
Okay.
And that's something that's never happened before.
Right.
Then also included in the festival this year is the 10th annual Moonlight Magnolias Progressive Dinner Garden Tour, which I hope some of the viewers have been to that, but you go to the first garden and have appetizers, the second garden and have entree, and the third garden and have dessert. It is a tremendously wonderful evening.
Right. Well, I know a lot of people have been involved in planning this, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but this is the Penny McHenry Hydrangea Festival. Who was Penny McHenry?
Well, she was a lady that was a gardener, but because of the loss of her daughter, a friend of hers sent her a potted hydrangea. She nurtured that hydrangea and propagated it and filled her garden with hydrangeas.
Right.
Garden clubs came to visit. She was featured in many, many magazines and found out that there was not a hydrangea society, so she started the American Hydrangea Society, which is now all over the United States and in England and France. So from that one potted hydrangea, she started that Hydrangea Society. Well, she passed away in March of last year, and we asked her family if we could use her name in our festival. So we're really honored to do that.
That's great. Well, I think that explains to all of us why this is the Penny McHenry Hydrangea Festival. But tell us a little bit about how you have put all this together, and if somebody has not been involved and wanted to be involved as a volunteer at the last minute, is it too late to get on the train, or what could be done? But just tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's never too late. Up until that day, we'll need volunteers. And like Laura had mentioned before, you cannot put on any festival without lots of good volunteers. I was talking about the garden tours, and the garden tours will start at 9 that morning and go to 5 that afternoon. So you can easily see the 5 gardens in that period of time and enjoy the festival. And then Moonlight and Magnolia starts at 5:30 that night. But actually, we want you to shop downtown on the old courthouse lawn and down the corridor of the plaza, and also eat at all the restaurants with the tables out on the plaza, and enjoy the flower show and a home expo, which is going to be the people telling about lawn equipment, sprinkler systems, how to save water. Just, you can be very well educated on gardening. Okay.
Well, it's obviously going to be a big weekend. And, you know, the city of Douglasville, when we first heard about this from you and Jerry, we thought, hey, this has great potential for the future. And Mayor Thompson and a member of the city council, they supported the idea. Not only made staff available, you had mentioned some of our staff, and we are pleased that they've been able to work with you, but from our Convention and Visitors Bureau, we did prepare and give a check for $10,000 to help with some of the cost on the Hydrangea Festival, because you know, we really believe that that this festival has a great future. City TV, of course, is giving us some promotion with you being on the agenda, and we'll continue to try to do that as we go through this process. Police Department, our Maintenance and Sanitation Department, certainly will be providing their assistance as needed, and our Main Street Manager Stephanie Allworth. You mentioned Colin Cash with our Convention Visitors Bureau, Marcia Hampton, who's director of our Community and Downtown Services Department. All of these people are involved because we think it's important for us to be of assistance, to be a player to what you have going on.
Well, it will really increase tourism in our downtown. Because there are so many garden enthusiasts. We have had calls from garden clubs all over the state that are bringing groups.
Right.
So we're excited that it is increasing the tourism in downtown.
Right.
I want to mention, if you don't mind, why I have this group of hydrangeas on the table here, Bill. We want the citizens, everybody, if you're not a gardener, you can still get involved. I mean, there's going to be lots of things to do and see, but this type thing is what we want the citizens of downtown and the entire county to put on their mailboxes or their front doors a couple of weeks ahead, just to celebrate the season of hydrangea.
Right.
And then I didn't get to mention at the ball, we're also going to have a hat parade. And those hats will be judged by our distinguished guest, which is Ryan Gainey. And he's a world-famous gardener and author. So you can enter your hat into this hydrangea hat parade. So they'll show you a sample on the TV, but you can also go to the website, get the rules for entry, and win some really good prizes for entering your hat.
Very good. And whether I enter a hat or not, I hope many of our viewers do, because I think this will be an exciting time. And you know, from the city standpoint, as I mentioned, we wanted to be very much involved, including providing from the CVB some financial assistance, because we, like you, believe that this can become a major tourist attraction to bring people to our hotels, to bring people to our restaurants, to have them shop in our stores. You know, we're looking forward to the time that when people look at their travel schedules, making their plans for the early part of the summer, that they, okay, I've got to be sure that I leave room to go to Douglasville for the Penny McHenry Hydrangea Festival.
That's right.
And while in 2008, we're talking about 2 days, and while you gave us a tremendous amount of activities, I know from you and Jerry that you already are looking beyond 2008. So give us a quick thumbnail. When we get to 2012, what will the Hydrangea Festival be in Douglasville, Douglas County?
Oh, it'll probably be a week-long festival by that time.
Right.
To include a lot of seminars about gardening and different people that can come and take classes about gardening and learn other things about hydrangea and other flowers. Like the flower show is not limited to hydrangea.
Right.
It is a standard flower show that will have roses and hosta and anything that people grow, they can enter into that flower show. And again, go to that website. You can find the rules on entering your plants. So you'd be surprised what you have in your garden that you can enter into the flower show.
Right.
But in 2012, it'll be a week long. And we would love it if other towns would actually use our footprint and include that in their festival activities. It would be wonderful if you could go to several little towns and have a garden tour that whole week.
Right. Well, that's great. Well, you know, we've run out of time, but certainly before we close, any other comments you wish to make?
Well, citizens need to just get involved. It's going to be a wonderful, festive weekend. So also, if you're not a gardener, we're going to hang lanterns, paper lanterns on your front porch. So you can just get in a festive spirit without having to plant hydrangeas.
All right. Well, Suzanne, I certainly appreciate you including on the agenda on your schedule today. And you know, to our viewers, here's a great opportunity now, June 6 and 7, to be participating in the first and the inaugural Penny McHenry Hydrangea Festival, so that a few years down the road, you'll be able to look at your neighbor and say, I was there for the first one. Thank you for watching On the Agenda today, and I hope you will check your calendars. Hope you will be able to participate in the Hydrangea Festival coming up on Friday, Saturday, June 6 and 7 here in Douglasville. Don't forget to taste for Douglasville Arts on Saturday, May 17th. And also we're having concerts on the plaza during the month of May on Friday night. The final one will be Friday night, May 24th. This is Bill Osmond on The Agenda.